ONDO, right now, trading around 37 cents. But most people don't understand why this token could explode in 2026 or stagnate if the market doesn't show up. This isn't just another altcoin pump play, though, guys. ONDO is a bridge between real world assets and on chain finance. And that alone could make it one of the most misunderstood cryptos of the next cycle. So today, we are going to break down what ONDO actually is, its core catalysts, bear, base, and bull price targets for 2026, and the one thing we need to understand before buying. Let's get into it. All right, guys, welcome back to Ledger Prime, where we analyze markets through capital flows, institutional adoption, and structural innovation, not memes and moonshots. On this channel, we look for signal, not noise. What do the headlines actually mean? Can we read between the lines and get some actionable intel that we can use to make money? So if you want real frameworks for real crypto investing, hit subscribe, like this video, and let's get into it. ONDO, or ONDO Finance, some people call it. This is a DeFi protocol, guys, designed to tokenize real-world financial assets and bring them onto blockchain rails. And guys, real quick here. On this channel, we don't jump right into price targets. We don't throw out random numbers, okay? We are going to talk about ONDO, what it does, how we could make money, what needs to happen in order for the price to go up, happen in the real world with usage and adoption, okay? We're not just throwing out random numbers. We're treating this as an investment. So again, ONDO Finance, a DeFi protocol designed to tokenize real world financial assets. And that is a theme on Ledger Prime that we think is going to play out over the course of the next few years. So instead of holding purely volatile crypto assets, ONDO lets users originate risk isolated fixed yield instruments backed by real financial assets. Think tokenized US treasuries and other yield generating holdings. The ONDO token itself is a governance and utility token within that entire ecosystem. So governance, protocol voting. What should the network do? What features should we add? You can use your tokens to vote. Incentives, which is staking and rewards. Go look at my Crypto 101 channel. We have a nice tutorial on what is staking and how to generate return with your tokens. And participation, right? Access to tokenized products. And this positions ONDO uniquely because it is at the crossroads of many themes that we see playing out in 2026 all the way to 2030, which is traditional finance moving on chain. DeFi infrastructure growth, so building the underlying infrastructure in the rails for decentralized finance. It doesn't happen overnight, but we think we can position ourselves right now to take advantage of it in the future, like a real investor, not a meme coin hype chaser. So institutional real world asset demand, right? If you think real world assets are moving on chain, ONDO could be part of that. But right now, guys, it is still very early. And that's exactly when the biggest asymmetric opportunities appear. This thing's not going from 37 cents to $37 tomorrow. I don't even know if it'll ever get there. But when you are convicted and you are early, that's when the money can be made. And that's when you need to start doing our research. So why could ONDO move even slightly in 2026? What are some of the catalysts that we need to look out for? Okay, the main things. Real world asset adoption. Watch the news. Read blogs. Look for any indications of assets moving on chain. Treasuries, real estate, stocks, derivatives. If we see this narrative continue to play out and get stronger in 26, ONDO could benefit. Right? Its entire thesis is built on tokenizing traditional assets. Something institutions are increasingly interested in. Think BlackRock. Okay, I have another video on BlackRock talking about how they want to tokenize everything. And if BlackRock's talking about it in public, you know it's coming. So if banks and asset managers or wealth funds start using on-chain real-world assets at scale, ONDO becomes a core infrastructure token. Okay, number two catalyst, regulatory clarity, hopefully coming early in January. Those are the rumors, January 26th, because there's speculation that clearer guidance for tokenized assets could unlock institutional capital. Regulatory friction is one of the biggest barriers today. So if that loosens, ONDO will benefit directly. Now let's talk Solana integrations. ONDO integrates with Solana and ETFs moving on chain. There are some early signs that ONDO plans to bring US equities and ETFs onto Solana in 26. That would be a huge, huge potential market upside if that actually came to fruition. So keep looking, ONDO, Solana, US equities, ETFs on chain. And then just market structure and macro, guys. If crypto risk appetite returns in 26 and yields become a focus again, tokenized real-world assets would suddenly look very attractive, and ONDO sits right in the middle of this category. So let's talk about our price targets. I know that's why you're here. And we're going to give you realistic targets, bear, base, and bull targets based on what could maybe happen in 26. So let's say the bear case scenario. This is just a minimal surge in ONDO. Okay, I'm saying 30 to 60 cents. I don't see ONDO with a lot of downside unless all of crypto takes a poop. You know, everything goes down, Bitcoin, Ether. If everything goes down, ONDO's going with it. But if things kind of go the way they're going, or just a small surge, 30 to 60 cents. Crypto markets would remain slow. Real world adoption would take longer than expected. Maybe it's a 2027 theme. And regulatory uncertainty lingers. That means we don't get regulatory clarity in January, and it gets pushed till after the midterms. ONDO in this case would trade sideways, low volume. You'd kind of have your capital locked up in there, just be playing the waiting game. Okay. Some models that I've found suggest modest growth or stagnation near the current levels. Maybe getting up to 40 cents, slightly above, which I mean is a 20% increase when we're talking a 37-cent token, but not the big massive moves we're hoping for. How about the base case though? The base case is moderate growth and regulatory clarity comes to fruition. So this would assume, like I said, gradual real world asset onboarding. We see things moving on chain with ONDO. There's institutional interest, market sentiment stabilizes, the Clarity Act passes, and there's no regulation and that type of overhead. So some of these price predictions would say ONDO well above $1 by the end of 26 if continued steady adoption carries on. This probably is the most realistic mid-cycle scenario, right? If we see DeFi begin to be renewed capital flows, assets recover, and regulation is favorable. And now our bull case. This would be ONDO having a breakout year, right? I'm saying $1.65 to $4. This would require major institutional integration, regulatory clarity, real yield products ramping up on chain. Some forecasts out there actually put ONDO between $1.65 and $4.15 in 2026. And if tokenization becomes a mainstream trend, could go even higher. So in an extreme adoption scenario, models from market analysts suggest $3 to $5, depending on execution and demand. But $3 to $5 is shiny. It's a shiny object. There's always risks. So let's be clear. It is still tied to overall crypto sentiment. Crypto needs to do well. Regulation needs to be favorable. DeFi projects historically lag during bear markets. Regulatory risks around tokenized financial assets are also a big risk, and adoption hurdles. Institutions move slow. And in order for the price to go up, we need the big boys to come to the table and play. So remember, guys, ONDO's upside depends on both the success of tokenization in DeFi and the broader crypto market health. So what's the takeaway for 26? If tokenized real-world asset infrastructure becomes mainstream, ONDO could be a major beneficiary. But if adoption stalls and markets stay risk averse, it simply could just go sideways. So to recap the view, bear case, 30 to 60 cents. Base, 60 cents to $1.50, and bull case is 165 to $4. And while we've seen some wild forecasts, like 10 bucks, right? They exist out there. Those would require near perfect execution and explosive institutional adoption, which are probably not likely in 2026. Guys, your number one edge is understanding where ONDO fits in the ecosystem, not just wild price targets. So if you found this 2026 price prediction useful for ONDO, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives like this. And comment below, are you bullish? Are you more on the base case or the bear case? Right? Until next time, guys, keep analyzing, keep questioning, stay skeptical, keep stacking up those coins, because this is the world of crypto. It moves fast and it's volatile, which is why we need to stay focused and lock in, because the world is about to be tokenized.